And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Good morning.
Make yourself comfortable. It's all right.
This big thing in my face. Okay. We are good. All is good. I've been listening to you for 20 years. You're a great advisor in my life. I've been in this seat multiple times. You actually usually choose me the first after segment of refreshment.
So that's where your expectation is, and you were unavoidable.
Yes. So I have two questions. First, I am a powerful manifester. I have manifested, I can't even believe the things I manifest. And I travel.
Well, that's not an accurate statement, because you didn't believe it, you wouldn't manifest it. So you can drop that phrase. I guess I'm going to have to believe.
I manifest things beyond my imagination.
Yeah, because the vortex has more depth and breadth and detail and exponential attraction than the individual components that you've put into it explain. You get that?
Yeah. And you talk about the desires. You used to say with Jerry, you know, if you buy me that Jaguar, I'd be happy for a day, right? And then you go, but then what? And so I started taking that on.
Another Jaguar tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
That was Esther's case. Hey, I can keep coming up with stuff. Don't worry. It won't run out.
Well, but I started doing that. I'm like, oh, so I could go have a house in Tahoe. Found a house, made an offer, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm kind of over it before they even accepted. I'm like, okay, great. So check that. And then I started, because the more I started doing that, the more things showed up, the more I started to actually think about the manifestation, have joy about the manifestation, and then get over it before it even came in.
Well, someday we will be having seminars on demanifestation. Abraham, my ability to create has become a burden.
Oh, it's not a burden. No complaints. But that raises a question, which is, if I can literally fulfill that desire by going into the thought, seeing myself there, and then having that fulfillment and kind of being over it before it shows up, I start to run out of desires.
But what you are leaving out of this is that, and this is new conversation that we're just having these days. So you get the picture of the vortex, the vibrational reality gestating and becoming, and your awareness of it increasing, and your vibrational alignment with it getting better and better and better. That's why more of the things that you're asking for are coming more readily, more easily, more often. It's because of your vibrational relationship with your already created vibrational reality. So as this vibrational reality continues to gain momentum, and you, because you meditate and you stay happy and you focus on things that cause you to feel good, and you steadily hold your vibration in a high-flying place, then the transfer from the vortex into reality is just a steady stream for you. But we want to point out how delicious that unfolding is on the way to the actual manifestation. We like to call this the sweet spot of creation, where you get to witness the cooperation of universal forces and other physical cooperative components. That is the hands in the clay creation that you all came here for. It would be like an artist who is really good at molding clay into magnificent things, then saying, I have too many statues around right now. When what most artists who are molding would say instead is, I just love the process of the becoming. I just love the feeling of my hands in the clay. I just love the ideas that flow even while I'm moving along. I just love the becoming and getting to witness the becoming. That's that sweet spot, because you've been hearing us say for a long time, it's not the destination, it's the joy of the journey. But this is really the journey that we're talking about, because much of your journey you're sort of oblivious to, and that's fine. Contrast is part of the journey, and you're putting stuff in the vortex, and that's all part of the journey. Life's just causing that to happen. You don't have to work at asking. Life causes you to ask. So that's not a very deliberate part of the creative process. And source energy responding and law of attraction responding, that's really not a deliberate thing for you to do either. So it doesn't even start being deliberate until you understand that you must tune yourself to the essence of what you've created. And once you begin deliberately changing the essence of how you feel, once you show yourself that you can feel good no matter what, once you show yourself that you aren't having knee-jerk responses to what's going on in what seems like a chaotic world, but instead you're steady and happy, then, that sweet spot just surprises and delights you and soothes you and gives you conscious awareness of your personal empowerment. In other words, the association between what I thought and what I felt and what I practiced thinking, and therefore what I accomplished the feeling of, and then the universal response to that, you begin to feel invincible. And there is no exhilaration greater than that worthy knowledge and that feeling of invincibility. And so it doesn't matter what you manifest it into. As fast as you manifest it, you can parlay it into something different, something more. Manifesting is a delicious thing. You are leading edge creators. You know, you're really good at it even when you are in the non-physical realm. We are having a wonderful time playing our non-physical role. But you said, I want to go where the action is. I want to be there on the leading edge. I want to be there when thoughts turn to things, when thoughts turn to experience, when thoughts turn to tangible, when thoughts turn to the reality, because this is the leading edge. So many people have that backwards. They think, oh, this is material and therefore not as worthy and therefore not as spiritual. And we say everything that is physical and everything that is tangible has a spiritual basis. And what you want to call spirit is in on all of it. And when you consciously let yourself in on it, now and only now, then and only then, are you doing what you came for. Everything else is just practice on your way up to what the real deal is. So sometimes, you know how it is, you're bored, and so you focus, and then things get really going, and then you're overwhelmed, and then you sort of back off, and then you're bored, and then you're overwhelmed, and then you're bored, and then you're overwhelmed. Yes. Well, that contrast is what keeps you focusing. When the energy is really moving strong and you're in alignment with it, you don't get tired, because this receptive mode that we're talking about is also the replenishing mode. It's also the clarifying mode. When you are really tapped in, tuned in, turned on, you have as much energy and vitality flowing through you as is necessary to support the ideas that you've hatched. But if your tongue's hanging out, then you have an idea, but you're not quite up to speed with it. But sometimes you are, but sometimes you're not. And sometimes you are, and sometimes you're not. And so you ebb and flow with your energy level, you see. Well, it's all just part of the way you learn to navigate in this energy stream. You're like sailors in an energy stream. And sometimes you pivot, sometimes you tack, sometimes you know what you don't want, sometimes you know what you do want. But you intended for all of it to be pleasurable. And it can all be pleasurable. Even what you call the contrast can be pleasurable, because it's clarifying. So
it's the hatching of the ideas.
The hatching of the idea, or the awareness of the desire, means that you're in the vicinity of what your vortex is doing, and so it could move easily. You know how we said earlier that you say to us sometimes, okay, Abraham, we will accept your invisible premise of a vortex, but just tell me how I get the money out of the vortex and into the bank.
So here's the thing, I've done that. I want more.
But that's how that happens. That's how that idea hatches. When you receive the idea, it means you were in the vibrational vicinity of what's already done, so that you got a whiff of the trail. And when you're consistently there, that you keep getting whiff, 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 which means it keeps being fun, 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 fun. And you see people in the world who are doing that, but you often don't understand how it is that they are doing it. That's how. They don't contradict their own thoughts. They don't contradict their own desires.
So I need to stay as a bloodhound. Stay in the...
Which is the same thing as saying be sensitive to your emotion and care about the way you feel. But understanding it, we don't want to give you the impression that we think that you should get on that high-flying momentum and just stay there forevermore, because ebb and flow is a good thing. And sometimes there is something in your vortex that you have clearly asked for, that you haven't had the life experience yet that clarifies it to the specifics. So your own inner being will call you to and through contrast for that clarifying experience, because there is a bigger thing that you want that this will clarify.
Ooh, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. So it's about prioritizing. It's about
okay. So I love that. So I'm.
What's your highest priority in creation?
To feel good, to be happy.
To be happy.
Nothing is more important that I feel happy and I feel good. And every morning I wake up, whatever thought comes in goes out until I listen to the happy song. And if I'm in a place where I don't feel good, I get up and walk out. And if somebody's serving me something that doesn't taste good, I politely ask for something that does taste good. And if I miss a plane, I think, thank you, God. It means something else is coming. And I've had 4 interesting job opportunities show up, and I didn't fall in love with each one. Like, one was really good. I should have it's like a really good guy. You know, he looks good on paper, great money, but he didn't make me laugh, right? That's why I'm saying the manifestation. I even got a job offer from Magellan.
That's that sweet spot that we're talking about. That's that sweet spot of hands in the clay. So here's something that will help all of you. If your desire feels bogged down to you, that's not the time to get more specific, because you've got a vibration going on that is full of resistance, and that's why it's bogged down. So if you get more specific, you'll bog it down more. So if it's going slow, back off. Now that's counterintuitive, isn't it? That's when almost everybody else says you need to try harder. But if it's going slow, back off.
Go look at something else.
But once you begin to feel momentum, that's when you want to get more specific, because it's so fun to guide it specifically. That's when you really feel powerful. In other words, the universe is responding to you. Test it. The universe is responding to you.
Okay.